guys, welcome to my channel. Yay, it's my first YouTube video, and today we are going to be recreating this gorgeous, well, I think it's gorgeous, holiday look. I am so excited to finally be doing this. So if you guys have any questions at all, comment below, and if you want to see how I recreated this look, then keep on watching. Hi guys, welcome. So I already have primed my face, foundation, brows are done. This is my first video on YouTube, so I wanted to kind of like save the time as far as like doing that whole process. So no, let's see. I want to keep it pretty soft and subtle on the eyes, but I do want to do a bold red lip. So I want to keep it pretty subtle. So I'm going to go in with the shade, let's go in with the shade Bear, and that is this shade here. And I'm just going to take that on my Morphe Y16 brush, and we are going to start. Okay, so I'm going to take this in my crease area, and I always say start softly because it's easier to add than it is to take away. Just taking this and really focusing on the crease area. I've really been trying to switch up my looks because y'all know I'm very into my extra dramatic looks. I swear I always tell people I feel like I was a drag queen in another life. So I've been trying to like just change it up just a little bit. Okay, so then I'm gonna go in, that was my Y16. Now I'm gonna take the Y17 brush, and I'm going to go in with a little darker transition shade, and it's called the shade Define Me. And then I'm just gonna focus that like right below our first transition shade. And I have very hooded eyes, so that's why I go a little bit above my natural crease, because I really want to focus on at least letting the color payoff show. And I get really messy on the outside, but that's because I go in after with my concealer and clean it up. So I've always said, like, if you get a little messy, it's okay. Like, just you can clean it up after. And I like to look down into a mirror because I want to see, I can see where that crease goes, like where my crease folds. And then I can like really focus on making sure it goes above that. So then I'm gonna take that Y16 brush that we used for the transition shade and just marry those two shadows together. Ignore my ugly accent. Like, I'm just really, really, really particular on blending it all together. Okay, so then I'm gonna go, I don't know, I'm just like trying to follow like wherever it leads me. Y'all see my little bow? Couldn't find a headband, so I definitely went and robbed my daughter of one. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the Y15. Right now, these are my favorite brushes. I splurged and said, fine, I'm gonna order them. So I ordered them, and I just love Morphe. Like, they're my favorite, and I've been using them for so many. I think the first time I ever ordered their brushes was 4 years ago, I think. It was Morphe and BH Cosmetics. So these, like, I have all of my brushes are literally 95% of them are Morphe. So now I'm gonna go in with the shade Vibrant. It's like a brownish mahogany shade, and I always dust product off because especially when you get into the darker ones, you want to really like not have so much fallout. You want to have less to clean up underneath. So just taking that, and I'm really just gonna pack this in to that outer corner. And this is a very, very, very dense brush. So because it's so dense, you're really gonna get that pigmentation. And like I always say, it's a good packing like outer corner brush. Of course, when you get into the inner corner and stuff, you really want to focus on like smaller, but because I like to fill such a wider area, I'm totally cool with a little bit of a bigger brush. So I always tell people packing is to add more color, and when you do the windshield wiper motion, trying to make it like in layman's terms, you're blending. And I always, every time I'm done adding a shade, I always go back with the transition shade and just, again, just a light hand, blend out any harsh edges. I'm just gonna take the little bit of the shade Passion, and it's like a maroon shade, but I'm not really adding it to add the maroon. Just before I add, I wanted like a little, almost like a transition shade before I add a little black on the outer corner. And because my eyes are so hooded, I do like the flick up motion, and it almost gives my eye the illusion that it's lifted versus making my eyes look more droopy than they already naturally are. To me, I always say makeup is the illusion. You can enhance the features you really want to enhance, and then you can also hide or diminish the features you really aren't fond of on yourself. Okay. So I'm just gonna take that same Kylie brush and I'm just gonna dip into the shade Muse, and it's the black shade, and a little at a time. So I'm just gonna really, ooh, I hadn't used this one yet. And I dusted off the brush, okay. So lightly take that over, ooh. Obviously, one little tap and a flick of product off is all you need. And I don't want the black to overpower the other like shades that we've used. So I'm blending out to take off some of this product and flicking up. And then I will take another brush and blend the two together. God, now I know. That black is no joke. Now I'm going to go and we're going to cut the crease. And I'm gonna use my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NC20. I love this concealer because my skin has just been, I don't know if it's the weather here in Texas, but my skin has been, no, it's not the weather, it's just me in general. My skin's been so dry, so when I prime and I moisturize, I use like all super hydrating products. I used to love the Benefit Professional, but it was so matte, it made my skin like, I don't know. I already have like acne problems. I'm already starting my Accutane journey. So I'll actually be vlogging that for the next couple of months. And I know my skin's already gonna be changing tremendously. So I've been definitely going in, exfoliating my lips, exfoliating my skin, moisturizing, keeping it hydrated and all that good stuff. So, So yeah, this is the Pro Longwear Concealer by MAC in the shade NC20. And it is just very, it's like, to cut or like to clean up my brows, I use the MAC NC15, the Studio Finish Concealer, but it's just too, like, my lid area, my under eye is just too, like, super, it's too dry right now. So I like to use that Pro Longwear Concealer to, you know, give my eye more of a hydrated finish, because definitely you don't want your cut crease to look all shrivelly. And because I have a hooded eye, I don't want it to crack or crease more than it naturally is going to. But with this concealer, I don't ever have that problem. And then so to cut it, you need to cut it. All right, I'm gonna go in with this e.l.f. flat brush, and I have it on a little petri dish, and I'm just gonna take a little at a time because I don't want to do a full on, like full cut crease. So let me not knock this palette over. I'm just gonna go in, and so excuse me if I'm like all up in this mirror. I again add an angle so I can see where I want to cut. And by now I kind of already know where my cut crease needs to go. And I always say it's not a race. Just take a little product at a time and take your time. Especially if you're new to doing cut creases. And like I said, we're not doing a whole cut crease. And the last thing you also want to do when you have under eyes, like you can see I keep looking in the monitor, I just don't want it to transfer. And then I'm just gonna take whatever excess product I have right there, and like, since we're not doing a full cut crease, I like can't multitask when I do this. I'm gonna go in with the beautiful Patrick Starrr Goal Getter palette, and I'm gonna use the shade Amber Lights. It's a frost shade. It's a beautiful frosty shade. You can tell I've been all up in this. Pathetics, man. Maybe. Oh, we're getting our groceries delivered because it's freaking cold today. So I'm gonna go in with the shade Amber Lights, and I'm just gonna take if I can find my small packing brush, an Urban Decay brush from one of their palettes, and I'm just gonna take this small end. Just gonna pack the product on. And normally, like with frost shadows from MAC or like shimmery shadows, you want to take like Fix Plus and spray the brush, but with this one you just don't have to. So I'm gonna take this really small little Real Techniques, and I'm just gonna dab out any like creasing that I have, because my eyes do have that naturally, and usually it's just excess product, so I'm just dabbing that off. And it fell. And then I'm just gonna take, oh my gosh, yes, the Amber Lights, and because we're packing it into a cut crease, you want to pack. You get the best color payoff that way as well. And I'm just gonna use my ring finger, and I'm gonna tap it on because it does have a little pump. Okay, and so then I'm going to take my Y11 and I'm just going to, it's just a really soft brush, but I'm going to buff it up. And you can take your concealer down as far as you'd like, but I really like to open up my under eye area. Because as you get older, you want to look as awake as possible. And I'm just making sure that's all buffed out. Same thing on this side. It's just super hydrating, like, and long wearing. And this lighting is giving the impression that it's going all the way down my face, but it's really not. I'm just making sure it's all blended with my, and there's no like harsh lines. The transition from my foundation to my concealer. Stop hitting. Okay, so then for my face contour, I'm going to go in with the Kat Von D Lock-It Foundation in the shade Warm M17. This is a thicker consistency, so I don't like to use this like on my under eyes, but I definitely like to use this on my forehead and down my nose. I really don't know what she's in there doing. And then I think I'm already almost out. But I think after this tube, for the rest of my face, I think I'm gonna use my Shape Tape. So then for this, I'm just gonna go in, well, I dropped my beauty blender. So I'm just going to take the same concealer brush and on my nose, I pat it in because I don't want it to move my foundation. And then same thing, just buff it. I'm gonna go in with my LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Beautiful Bronze, and this stuff is super pigmented, so you have to be careful. So I'm just gonna go in and just do, and tell me what y'all think y'all's favorite cream concealers are. I really want to get into like a stick, maybe. And I don't have super defined cheekbones, so I have to really make it even look like I have cheekbones. So I really don't use like too much of this. It's literally like just what's on the brush because I don't want it to be like super harsh. And then I take it on my forehead. Now this I do use, I already use what's on the brush, so I just use a little, tap it off just a little bit. Just take it into your hairline. And then use what's left and go down the bridge of my nose. And then if you really want to make the width of your nose look smaller, just take a little bit on the sides. to make your tip of your nose smaller, just do a V. But I just really like, this one's just so convenient because you've got that little super small brush. Okay, so now to buff this out, I'm gonna take my Y14 and just pat. I just like how super small this brush is. Okay, the other side. Don't quote me on that. But it's like a small angle, so I just pat my nose. And if you need a smaller brush, by all means, go ahead. But I just like that it pats and doesn't, I don't want it to be like a super harsh line. Like, I'm not gonna leave it like this. See, there's the soft, and then right here, I'm just gonna dust it downwards. And right here, just kind of flick. But everybody's face shape is different, so whatever you choose, or the shape of your nose that you contour, that's all on you. Nobody has the same nose shape. And there we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna take that same brush and I'm going to dip into Patrick's powder. This is the setting powder by MAC. It is a beautiful powder, and I'm just going to press this into, and it's gonna make a mess, whatever, it's setting powder. Try to dust off as much excess, but press this in. And it's just a really, it's a colorless powder, but it does have like a peach undertone. But it just instantly like highlights that under eye. And I take it all the way down. I've even set my, I'm probably gonna set my whole face with this just because it gives your skin like a nice matte finish without being like drying, if that makes sense. Like, I was all about the Airspun, and Airspun is so much thicker than this, but this is just so finely milled. Make sure you get in them under eye creases because we don't want to look old. And you're going to make a mess when you set with any kind of loose powder. And if you don't, well, I need to know your tips and tricks. And set my chin. Pack it in my forehead. Because I am always working, so I don't need my makeup to move. And having to constantly, I think that's like my biggest thing with people too. It's fine, we'll fix it. And I'm gonna dust this underneath my jawline. But is when women ask me, is it long lasting? That's like, convenience is everything. You don't want to having to buy or sit and do your makeup every day and then having to sit and reapply it. Like, that makes no sense to me. Take whatever's left in the little dish. I use the lid. It does come with a sifter, but I'd rather just look like this. This is a Morphe G22, and just, it's a duo fiber, which I love because it just, it's not so harsh, but you're just gonna dust all that off. Oh, it's such a pretty finish. Okay, so then I'm gonna go back and add some color like on top of this, just because extra setting, there's nothing wrong with that. So this is my Studio Fix powder in the shade NC20. I use the Studio Fix Fluid Foundation. Hi, Ava. And I'm gonna pat this on with my MAC Robert Lee Morris Pro Longwear Pressed Powder in the shade Dark. And it does have a cute little mirror in it. I love this powder. And all into your forehead area, wherever you put that cream contour. Whatever's left, just take it on and take that down my under eye area. Can you hear all my lovely dogs? So then take the Into It shade, this maroon shade, and just focus it on the outer corner. And then you can take that same little Urban Decay brush and just buff it out. That is what we got so far. Pate blush. And then I'm going to go in with the Clarity F28. It's a duo fiber. And lightly just blend that into the skin. Just put so much blush on without even meaning to. So take your powder brush and kind of tone it down a little bit. Okay, so now for my inner corner highlight, I'm gonna go in with my MAC Double Gleam. And then just take my Fix Plus and the scent Rose. Spray that. Let it dry a little bit and then just pack that on your inner corner. Ooh, girl. Look at the difference. Do the same thing on the other side. And you always want to pack your inner corner so you get that. Size on my cheekbone because I have texture, so I don't like to take it way too high. So then I'm just going to take this gorgeous gold tone and pile it on. And I just focus it. Yes, it's my favorite highlighter right now.
My blush brush, and I just kind of tone it down a little bit. And I'm going to take that same brush and go back. Just add a little bit more emphasis with the double gleam. And just pat that on right there.
Because you can never have too much highlighter. Alright. So I'm going to do my liner and my lashes off camera, and then I'll come back and do my lips. Be right back. Okay, so now we're going to do our lips. I did my liner and my lashes off camera. I'm wearing Lashes by Jalisa. If you have her on my Facebook or I tag her on Instagram, it's TheRealist Hair Boutique, and she's located here in Texas. She does do shipping, but they're the only lashes I wear. I absolutely adore them. They're mink, 100% mink. They don't feel heavy. I get a lot of compliments on them, but these are the packaging it comes in. It's gorgeous, like silver packaging, and these in particular, if you like them, are the 510s. So I'm gonna line my lips. So now I'm going to go in with Patrick Wu. This is my favorite red right now. It is just a stunning shade. It goes on super creamy. If you love Ruby Woo by MAC, this is a good alternative for the texture, because you know the Ruby Woo is a super matte, so it almost feels drying when it goes on your lips. This one does not. It is a matte shade, but it is just a beautiful color, beautiful texture, beautiful everything. So this is what we're wearing today. This, if you want to wear this over it, it's stunning. This is beautiful by itself, but that is like my favorite red this holiday season. I absolutely love the creamy consistency. I wish it was a permanent item, but it's not. So yeah, if you don't have it, you need to get it. So this is the final look, guys. I hope you enjoyed my first YouTube tutorial. I was so nervous, but now I hope you just love it as much as I do. If you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button if you love this, and I will see you on my next one. Bye.